want you to look with me in Psalm 16 and verse 9. I'm going to start there. Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoiceth. My soul also rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Thou wilt show me the paths of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. Somebody say fullness of joy. Come on, I want you to look around somebody and say, in his presence, there's fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. I want you to say, in his presence, there is joy. In 2011, there's one thing that I watched happen to the church. The church went through a process of time that joy was diminished. Joy began to be a thing that we searched for, is finding joy. Now, we had some great services across America and different parts of the country. We had great services, but we met a lot of folks that were going through a lot of tribulation times, a lot of trials and a lot of tests, lots of tears. But the Lord shared with me that this is going to be our year of joy. This is going to be our year to prosper. This is going to be our year to see the outpouring of God's Spirit like never before. Now, I know we hear that every year, but this is the first season that God has ever allowed me to look at a congregation and said, this is going to be our year of prosperity. This is going to be our year of blessing. Look around somebody and say, this is going to be your year of blessing. I want to look at that 11th verse one more time, if you would. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence, in thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Now, I want to talk about the fullness of joy. Now, I don't know about you, but I want some fullness of joy. I want, first of all, to understand what the fullness of joy is. Now, is it something that is joy something that we have to get at an amusement park? Is joy something that we get when somebody gives us something? Is joy when everything goes our way? I don't think that that's the type of joy that he's talking about here, and I want to go into it. Look at Nehemiah chapter 8 with me and verse 8, and I want to begin to read this because the people there were not liking what they were being read. They were being read the book of the law. And they wasn't liking it at all, and they began to weep. Now watch what it says. And they read in the book, in the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense and caused them to understand the reading. And Nehemiah, which is somebody say that, Teshatha. And Ezra, the priest, the scribe, and the Levites that taught the people, said unto all the people, this day is holy unto the Lord your God. Mourn not nor weep. For all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This was tough times. This was a hard thing to hear about the law. Then he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat and drink the sweet, and send portions unto them for whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy unto the Lord. Neither be ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. Now, I want to talk about this joy again. Now, they have just been read the law. They've just been read and gave the understanding of it, and it became a real heartache for them. It became something hard for them to hear, something hard for them to digest, something hard for them to say, we can live with this. And then that's when Nehemiah said unto them, said, don't be sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. Our problem is we're trying to find our joy, but we can't find our joy until we know what His joy is. His joy is peace. His joy is tranquility. His joy is that we might have healing and we might have miracles. It's not His will that any of us have cancer or any type of afflictions or diseases. It's not God's will that we suffer. It's not God's will that we have financial distresses. It's not God's will for His people to suffer. It is God's will to prosper and be in health, even as our soul prospers. So what we have to do is we have to look in the sense of what our flesh desires to do. The flesh desires to have the fullness of the fulfillment of its joy, but in that process, this flesh begins to die. From the very first breath that we breathe, we begin the process of dying. So therefore, we get stricken with different afflictions and diseases and different sufferings that come upon our body. But that's not God's will that we have this. This is brought on by sin. So what we have to understand is the joy of the Lord is understanding His word. And that's why He said the joy of the Lord